Welcome to the Old Man and the Three with JJ Redick and Tommy Alter, presented by Cash App and brought to you by 342 Productions. This is episode 70, Mailbag episode, our very first Mailbag episode.
Finally.
Tommy, Tommy, I had an incredible morning this morning. I went on a hike with some family members and my kids, and took about 2 hours, and we made it out to this overlook where there's one of those giant wooden trolls. And apparently there's this artist that installs these giant trolls in the mountains all over the world.
How big are they?
Oh, dude, I fit in its hand.
That's
it's like
cool.
20, 25 feet tall.
That's cool. It's a little creepy though. You ever watch like True Detective on HBO?
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like when you have those little things in the middle of nowhere, you're like, all right, what am I walking into?
My kids loved it. They somehow made the hike with me. The hike was probably 2.5, 3 miles of a lot of up and down hills. So they did it. I'm going to post something in a little bit here on Instagram of the picture of the troll and the view. It's
what's the artist's
sick.
name?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know
you never
history.
heard of this before this?
I've been to the troll before, but it was years ago when I came here.
Yeah.
We're in Tennessee right now. So, but it was good fun. A lot to get through with the mailbag. We should hit a few things first. I know you wanted to pop off some questions. So where are you at?
Yeah, so we should talk free agency. I feel like people keep blasting us on Twitter talking about what your plan is. And I feel like you've crystallized a pretty good plan at the moment. And so maybe you can just spell that out for our audience.
Sure. Just taking my time. I feel no rush to make any sort of decision on next season. And I felt that way when the season ended, and I feel that way now. My focus right now is just hanging with my family and enjoying the off season. And we'll make a decision on next season, what team, what city, etc. Probably sometime in the next 2 or 3 months. But I would say pretty much definitively, like I won't be in a training camp to start the season. That's not going to happen. So I'll join a team at some point this season and finish the year and try to go get a chip.
Yep, I think that's right.
That's the plan.
I think that we don't have to even belabor it, but people do this all the time. This happens where people join teams at various stages, and you've had a long year, to put it mildly, with a lot of stuff.
It's been a long career, man.
You've had a long career, and so it is gonna. So we'll provide updates on the show and everything like that. But I basically think
this
that
actually is a good segue into something I want to talk about before you ask another question. But like you said, I've had a long year. Like, yeah, everybody's had a long year, a year plus. Everybody in the NBA has had, anybody that participated in the bubble and then went through this season has had a very long, basically 2 seasons in one. I mean, it seemed to me like it just didn't end, which is why the guys that played in the Olympics, like I am so impressed with that commitment. And to highlight specifically Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Devin Booker, who, Drew had a new son born last fall. So he's been out playing under protocols, all this stuff, away from his family, plays in the finals, gets on a plane, goes to the Olympics to represent his country and hoops. Like Drew Holiday now is like a household name.
He balled out.
He's a hero.
He had a pretty strong 3-week stretch there. I mean, it played out nicely for him, for the 3 of them really, because the team obviously was going to take a few games to, just get their sea legs under them, especially with like international basketball. But it timed out where they came in and they started winning, and that was that. And so it was a good look.
We got to talk about our boy Luka, though. Like basically single-handedly taking a team.
The guy's a baller
to the brink of getting a medal. I mean, it's so impressive. Here's my question to you: like, let's factor in age for some guys here. Is Luka the best player in the NBA next season? Is that out of the realm of possibility?
No, he's not. He's not the best player.
You don't think so?
No, I think I think the best player in the NBA next season is the person who was the best player on Team USA this year. Okay. I think Luka, and he lives in borough of Brooklyn. I think that Luka, I think Luka is going to be in the conversation, for sure. But like everything that Luka did and everything that Luka did in the playoffs and like that, like KD's done that for years and has won, and he's done it at a higher stage. And even just talk about a crazy, the guy tore his Achilles. And then he did what he did in the playoffs, even though they didn't win and they had some, bad luck and everything like that. Why they didn't necessarily get to the finals, and then took no time off and did this in Tokyo. I mean, that's insane in its own right.
I agree. I was just posing the question. I don't think it's
out of the realm of possibility in the next couple of years. I mean, he's obviously on that track, but I don't think it's happening. I don't think it will be next year.
I've been playing a lot of golf lately. Yeah. So all these guys that I've been playing with, a lot of them are, hedge fund guys, Wall Street guys, whatever. And all they want to talk is hoops. And every time they're asking me who's the best player, who are the three best players, whatever it may be, if you were building a team tomorrow, who would you pick, right? You always talk about these conversations. And inevitably, like, Kevin's name comes up. And I'm just like, he doesn't count. Like, he just doesn't count because he's a cheat code.
Yeah.
He's a cheat code. There's no one on planet Earth that can do what he does as efficiently as he does it.
Yeah, he's a video game. He's a video game.
No, I agree with you though. I agree with you. I think when healthy, I think he is the best player in the NBA next season.
And we've talked. I mean, we've talked about it a bunch on the show already, obviously around the finals. But like Luka has not passed Giannis. You have to put the playoff pedigree into the equation when we were having this conversation. And right now, Luka hasn't gotten out of the first round. And so when that happens, we can start having that conversation. But until then, it isn't. Before we get to mailbag,
you're just a hot take machine today. By the way,
this isn't even a hot take. I love Luka.
You are though. No,
that's not a hot take at all.
I thought we were having a discussion, and you're just throwing out takes.
That's not a hot take at all. It's just I feel like a somewhat factual statement.
All right.
Before we get to mailbag, I want to hit a couple of the free agency moves and trades that have happened, just because I feel like they're interesting. I want to talk about Kyle in Miami. Kyle's going to come on the show soon. Fortunately, they're under a little bit of a cloud of investigation right now. So until that is done, I don't think he will be here. But when that's done, he'll be on the show. So what do you think about that move?
We should mention this. Like, we always knew, first of all, this is our first mailbag episode in 70 episodes. We always knew that these first couple weeks in August were going to be a little bit slow for us because of the Olympics, the length of the finals. Like, we hit up a bunch of our friends across the league this week, and like, everybody was like, I'll do it later. Basically, is what we got.
Kyle was happening until this fucking stupid investigation. And I'm just like, it doesn't matter. It's going to be probably, we're going to do it in person, so it'll be better. But I also can I actually ask you this question separate of him and separate of this particular, what is the point of these tampering? Like, what is the point of these investigations? Clearly people are talking all the time. It feels like it's a for show thing. In general, nothing ever comes of it. So what is the point of doing one of these things? And this is the case both in Miami and then also with the Lonzo trade to Chicago, which I want to talk about the fit with the Bulls. But what's the point of the league even doing these sort of like investigations where nothing's going to come of it?
It's a little bit for show, probably, I guess. I don't know. I think you'd probably have to ask the guy who's asking for the investigation.
Yeah.
I mean, there was, some teams like cleared a ton of cap space to get Kyle, and it didn't happen. And then, Lonzo leaving. So you'd have to ask that guy complaining. All right, let's talk about show.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Off the investigation for a second. Talk about Kyle's fit in Miami. Talk about Lonzo DeMar in Chicago, which I'm actually really excited about. And then we got to talk Russ and our boy Melo in LA last.
All right, so here's an interesting trend. If you look at really those three moves, like those teams, well, Chicago probably is not like necessarily title aspirations quite yet, right? They're probably like, let's make that jump and become one of the upper tier playoff teams. But they got an older, established player. The Lakers got older. Miami goes out and gets a vet. Like, that was a little bit of a trend in free agency, I think. I think the guys, teams have realized, like, the guys that just understand the game and know how to win, they get it done. They get it done in the playoffs. And so I think that was a little bit of a trend. I first of all, like, Kyle in Miami, I love. I think he fits that culture. He fits the vibe of their team. Adding PJ Tucker, they're going to be really, really good defensively. Jimmy's obviously great defensively, and then Bam is probably one of, if not the most versatile big man defender in the NBA. So I love that team. I think they're going to have a nice bounce back after what was a down year.
They're just tough as fuck. They got with PJ, Morris. Like, they just got a bunch of UD just re-signed. Shout out to Duncan and Davis. They had him on the show this week. Like, they got a bunch of just like mean dudes you just don't want to run into in a 7-game series down there.
Yeah, they're going to be good. They're going to be good. The Lakers, of course, we all saw the memes and the jokes and the GIFs on Twitter about them just being old, whatever. They got a bunch of vets that know how to play. Dwight Howard's been really good in that role now for a few years. I think not having him last year hurt them, and I think getting him back was big. They got some shooting with Ellington, who's underrated to me as a floor spacer, and he competes. So I like that. Russ going there. There's true big three. I mean, like, to me, this is great for LeBron. Like, he's just basically extending his career at this point, extending his window for a championship. So it's great. And then specifically, like, Lonzo, I'm excited for Lonzo to go to Chicago, to get to play with Zach and Vooch. I think he'll have a great little connection with Vooch over there in the pick and roll game. And it's going to be an exciting team to watch. I like that team.
Last thing before this, we should shout out Duncan. Duncan's buying dinner.
Our guy got a bag.
Duncan's buying dinner next time.
That's literally what I told him. He called me. He's like, I'm coming to New York. He's like, where should I stay? Blah, blah, blah. Where should I eat?
Like, for the plaza.
And I'm like, bro, here's the deal. I'll tell you whatever you need to know, but like, dinner for the first time is on you. You are paying for dinner, and maybe the next few times.
The next few. Also, shout out to Woj for announcing, when he announced that Duncan was signing, putting the long shot in the tweet.
Yes. Duncan Robinson, host of the Long Shot pod and a member of the Miami Heat, is re-signing.
3-4-2s changing the NBA Scoops game.
You love it. You love it. All right, let's get to this mailbag.
Okay, I like this. We're going to start it. Chris, a bunch of people emailed stuff in. Chris B. JJ, if you were commissioner, what would your first rule change be?
Ooh, I like that. My first rule change. Well, they just changed the rule with the offensive players drawing these fouls where they're grabbing the other player's arms as they're dribbling and then going up into their shot, or they're jumping backwards. So I like that rule change. I think it'd be fun. Let's talk about the half court heave for a second. So like, at the end of a quarter, everybody is scared to shoot a shot from half court or beyond, or even like a runner from 40 feet, whatever. Why should that count? I don't think it should count. Somebody throws you a grenade. It's the end of the quarter. And so guys don't even shoot the ball.
So it shouldn't count because of the percentages, you mean?
I think it should just count as like a heave, like it's a separate shot. And then at the end of the season, you can be like 2 for 12 on your heaves or whatever it may be. But it's not counted as like a field goal attempt, right? And then I think if it goes in, it should be worth 4 if it's beyond half court.
I was going to ask about that. That would be
like,
cool.
Like beyond half court.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And then it would be interesting if that rule was implemented, because imagine guys like Steph and Dame, J.R. Smith, Vince, like all these guys that had that range, like where at the end of the game, you're trying to come back and like you're literally pulling from 50 feet.
Yeah.
Behind the half court line.
That would be awesome.
I would love to see. That would be amazing.
Did you ever have that range?
No. I mean, my range on a good day, like when I've got my juice, like I'm like, whatever, 30 feet. I don't have 40 feet, and certainly not 35 feet.
It's weird. We talked about it with him, I think, but it's weird with Dame. I mean, Dame looks so comfortable shooting that shot.
Yeah. And he practices it. And it's a lot of it is just lower body and core. I mean, he just gets it off. He also, I would say this, he's the best shooter I've seen that shoots the ball on his palm. A lot of shooters don't shoot the ball on their palm. And when you shoot it on your palm, you're naturally going to have a little more strength than if you shoot it on your fingertips.
Yep. All right.
Is there a rule change you'd like to see? I'm very curious about this.
I have one.
What is it?
You're going to say that you're going to claim I'm being a hot take person again. I would.
Great.
I want them to blow up the playoffs, and I want them to make it 1 through 16, no conferences.
Okay.
I want them to basically do the March Madness, not March Madness. So you can still do regular series. I mean, I think they should do. So I guess it's twofold. I think they should do 1 of 16, no conferences, and I think the first round should go back to best out of 5 rather than best out of 7.
Great. I don't care about the best out of 5. That's fine. But I would say this. It's a terrible take on your part. Terrible opinion. I'm just going to say that from my perspective as a player, you live in your ivory tower. You don't know what it's like to be a player. So if you're the 1 seed you're the 1 overall seed and you're the Lakers and you're playing in the first round against the Boston Celtics, who are the 16 seed, you think that sets you up for a long playoff run where you got to travel across the country? And everybody complains about the playoffs being long as it is. If there's geographic differences like that, if there's geographic differences like that,
you're flying on a fancy Learjet where you're playing cards and you're eating. You're not in the stowaway and coach on Spirit Air. Like, you guys are flying nice. You can
a Learjet. You think you can put a basketball team on a Learjet? No, we're flying Boeing 757s. This is
part of what makes it fun.
You're ridiculous. No, it's a horrible idea. It's a horrible idea. It's a horrible idea. And everybody complains about the playoffs being dragged out as it is. And so I like the idea of going to 5 games. But the thing is, even if you go to 5 games, you've got these geographic differences. You're going to have to space the games out. Okay. It's just science, man. Okay. All right. It's science. You can't defeat time.
Listen, thank you. You asked me my opinion. I gave me my opinion.
By the way, I haven't talked to you in like 10 days. This is really good to catch up.
Yeah. Okay. Sean Fitzgerald, who is dream guest to come on pod?
Who is the dream guest?
Have we ever answered
I want to
that?
know your dream guest. I feel like you and I may have the same dream guest. So non-basketball, mine's Obama.
Obama
is like
everyone
the
says
guy.
it, but Obama would be awesome.
Yeah, it's the guy. He's the guy.
I feel like we could do it too because of Reggie.
You know the basketball player that I would love to get on, and we've asked, and it's just like it's not. I don't know that it's going to happen. I will continue to ask like every 6 months, but I would love to get Taurasi on. Like for a basketball guest, I think she's my number 1.
I tried. She doesn't. Maybe she'll do it eventually. She doesn't like talk. Like, she doesn't like talking publicly. The funny thing is, she's like the funniest person and she's the biggest shit talker. But she doesn't like that to be. She's like, it's like almost the opposite of Sue, where Sue is so smooth and so composed and everything like that. Where Sue's basically like, Sue can give an interview every day for a year and she'll never say anything that'll get her in trouble, but she'll also be interesting. And DT's like, will come on and start shitting on people within 30 seconds and then we'll have to edit everything out. I think we could do that though.
But DT was on when Sue and Megan had that show. I think it was last spring. They were doing like that Instagram live.
Yeah,
thing.
that's different.
And
that's like
Diana did it, and like she was awesome.
She's the best. We also should shout out. Sue said she will come on next week, but we should shout out those 2, 5 gold medals.
Absolute goats.
Insane
for sure.
And absolutely insane. Okay.
That's why I brought her up, man. Like she's the goat. She's like, let's get her on.
All right, let's
make it happen.
Okay. All right. This is a good one. Millap Meta. What are the biggest challenges of working with friends? Ooh. Interesting. Interesting question.
Interesting question. Well, here's the thing. You know, when you're working with friends, as we all know, everyone has their idiosyncrasies. And I'm sure there are things that I do that annoy the fuck out of Tommy. And there are things that he does that annoy the fuck out of me.
And we should add in Kylie to this equation. Kylie and Jason. And Jason to a certain extent, but more Kylie, because Kylie actually has to deal with both of our shit.
Yeah. And Kylie's like, she's like my best friend in the world. So like, it's like, I'm kind of, we just working with friends. You have days where, you might be annoyed with them and you just kind of have to get over it. But I actually think that helps the working relationship.
Yes.
Right? Because you're loyal to your friends. You're going to be loyal to your friends.
Yes.
Right. And I think we call each other out on our bullshit. Like,
yes.
I mean,
yes.
in a friendly way. Right.
I think the most important thing is you have to understand from day one, you're not going to win every argument.
Yes.
If you think you're going to win every argument, you should just not be you should just get out now, because that isn't even, but by the way, that's like common sense. Like, that's not a friendship. If you always decide where we're eating or where we're doing whatever, then it's like, it's a one-sided thing and it sucks.
Relationships are all about compromise.
Yes.
It's how I've been married for 11 years.
Yes,
absolutely.
I really like, speaking of restaurants, Philip M., what is your favorite appetizer?
I'm going to say, like, my favorite appetizer, like, I want to start every single meal with 6 to 12 fresh oysters. That is my favorite appetizer.
Yeah.
Easily. Every meal. I could eat them. I could eat.
You know what my problem with oysters
24 oysters in one sitting and not even like think about it.
I like oysters. I'm not an oyster hater, but they don't fill me up at all. So I find them to be like a waste of money. You know, because they're not cheap, and you order them, and like people are always like, "Oh, like let's get oysters, let's go da." And we get oysters, you end up eating one or two, and it's just this. It's kind of like having like, I don't know, like a little piece of like a cracker or something like that. Like, it doesn't feel like you're eating anything where you're going to be like, if you order an appetizer and it was oysters, you're still going to be just as hungry when the entree comes. I guess if you ate 24, maybe not, but if you eat 6, you're going to be.
I mean, yeah, if you eat 2, you're not going to be hungry. But you fill them up. You fill them up. Here's a question I have for you. For our listeners, like, who do you think likes or dislikes or gets more shit for their food takes? Me or you?
Is that a serious question?
I think, yeah, because you have horrible food takes. That's why.
That is not why. My food takes are actually good. No.
What is your favorite appetizer? What is your favorite appetizer?
I'm going to probably get shit for this. Well, I will say this. The appetizer that I order the most, I wouldn't say it's my favorite appetizer, but I think is the most consistent, is just like a nice Caesar at a good place. Mm-hmm. Like, it just is. If you're at a good restaurant and you see a Caesar salad on the menu, not a whatever. If you're at a good restaurant, like that's not my favorite appetizer though. I would say my favorite appetizer is probably, I like tuna tartare with like avocado.
Great.
I feel like that's a good.
I can't disagree. I feel like that's
solid. I feel like that's a solid choice.
I want to talk to you about your Caesar salad choice. When you just said to me about oysters that they were a waste of calories. A Caesar salad,
I didn't say a waste of calories.
Is a waste of calories. There's no nutritional value in a Caesar salad.
But I didn't say oysters are a waste of calories. I don't even think oysters have there's any caloric issue with it. I think it's a waste of money. Right. You're telling me, like, if you're at a really good Italian restaurant and there's a Caesar on the menu, you're not going to just like bang that out?
I would like try to get like a veal Milanese or eggplant parm appetizer.
What's that place in Salt Lake?
Walters.
Yeah, with like the tables. Oh, that's the other thing. It's like tableside Caesar and tableside guacamole. You always know they're going to be good.
Okay. All right.
What's the appetizer at Baldy?
Oh, I just get the fish carpaccio. Are you talking about the corn agnolotti?
The corn, that's the best appetizer.
With the white summer truffle.
Yeah, that's the best appetizer of.
If you're counting a pasta course as an appetizer, then yes.
That's Ben. Shout out to Ben. Ben was put us onto that. All right, what's next? From Marco. Do you think the balance of power in the NBA has shifted towards the East?
Do I think the balance of power shifted towards the East? I think it probably already has. I don't think it already had, I should say. The balance of power already had shifted to the East, I think. You know, when the Warriors dynasty broke up and Kevin Durant goes to the Brooklyn Nets, balance of power is now in the East.
Generally, when the best player in the NBA goes to a conference, the balance of power goes to that conference.
And then you have the Heat obviously were a little short last year, but Bucks winning this year. Brooklyn is heavy favorites to win next year. So I would say the balance of power rests in the East for sure.
Okay. Tim McDowell, 2-part question. Nice. What lawn games do you guys excel at? You're a big lawn game guy.
I'm a huge lawn game guy.
Duke, frat star.
Big croquet guy. Big croquet guy. Oh my gosh.
All right. What long games? I
would say this. Like I'm not gonna say that I'll ever be like an ACA world champion, American Cornhole Association champion, but I'm solid with the bags. Like I'm real solid. And if I'm on a steady buzz, like where I hit that sort of sweet spot, I can really lock in and put some numbers up.
I had an idea about this. I was thinking about this because cornhole's it's like, I don't even play that many long games, but like I play cornhole every once in a while and I'm not as good as you, but I'm fine at it. I'm serviceable. I think we should like go to the park in like a park in New York or something, like go to Central Park or something like that and just like set up cornhole. Maybe when Duncan comes and just like play with like random people.
We could just play in my backyard. I mean, I have cornhole.
No, but it'd be more fun to do it and like I like.
Oh, with randos.
Yeah, I feel like we can make it like an event. It could be like a meetup.
So I don't play I don't even know what other lawn games there are. So croquet, I don't really play. Is it bocce ball? Bocce ball, is that one? Does that count?
I'm looking it up right now. It would honestly be hilarious if you played croquet.
I'm decent at bocce ball. Giant Jenga, solid. If we include outdoor beer pong, I would say I'm real good at that. Do you think you're the best beer pong player in the NBA? I don't know. I do have a regulation size table that
you're probably up there. You have a pretty good combination of factors that would make you good at it. The hand-eye coordination.
If you could play beer pong against one NBA player, who would it be? That's a good question.
If I could play again, team up with. I want to do it with Steven Adams. I don't even know if he's any good. I just want to be on. I want to like play with him. I feel like that's just like a no-brainer. Any sort of party game event, that's like a no-brainer answer.
I love that.
Who do you think? Who do you think? So who else would be good? So you would be good. I think Katie would be good.
Steph would be good. Steph would be good.
Clay would probably be pretty good.
Clay would be good. Clay probably plays.
Because the whole thing is you got to have like the reason why you're in a good spot is like it's not just having the shooting skill. You got to have some tolerance for alcohol. Like if you don't drink, you're not going to be good at it, even if no matter how good a shooter you are.
Yeah, for sure.
His other question is top shows, movies you've watched this summer.
Outer Banks season 2.
Are you done yet?
No, I got one episode left. It's
good.
Over the top. It's so good. You know what I didn't realize? I was going to tweet this out the other day, but then I was like, fuck it. I'm whatever. The soundtrack, the music in that show is so good.
Yeah, it's a good thing you did. It's a good thing you didn't tweet this.
No, but it's pretty eclectic too. Like there's some old stuff. There's a lot of indie rock. They played Alt J the other day on one of the shows. Then there was some hip hop. Oh, I think it's great.
I think you could tweet about Outer Banks, but like that's a weird
I
take.
love the soundtrack. I'm down. They had Fleet Foxes. They had a Fleet Foxes song on the other day.
I find the soundtrack to be completely unmemorable. I think the show is incredibly entertaining, but I would not say that the soundtrack is a good part of it.
No, I mean, no one said you had a good taste in music, Tom.
Okay. All right. What movies though?
What movies?
Yeah.
The only movie I've watched recently that I can remember was Paddington 2 with my kids.
Oh, yeah, you don't like movies. You don't watch movies ever. You watch
Christopher Nolan.
You watch the same 4 movies over and over again, and there's every time like a movie wins an Oscar, and you're like never heard of it.
I am like a rewatcher of movies. So like I've watched like all the Daniel Craig Bond movies like 5 or 6 times. I watch Christopher Nolan movies 8 to 10 times, each one of them. I just like rewatching movies. I like the feeling a movie gives me. If I like the feeling a movie gives me, I just rewatch it.
Speaking of guests, John David Washington said he would come on the show.
He'd be great.
But I feel like you have to like control your. It's like a McConaughey situation. Like you can't be weird about the movie. I think the amount of times you've seen that movie is borderline. Like you need to talk to a therapist about it.
Only 7. It is time. By the way, I was thinking about this. I need, in the next month, I'm going to rewatch Interstellar, Tenet, and Inception. They all need a rewatch for me. It's time.
By the way, we'll figure out like how to do some sort of like event around it or something like that. Maybe raise some money for charity or something. But we're going to do the thing with Lil Yachty, the Interstellar thing when he comes to New York.
Yeah.
We're going to do it.
Also, I should
Interstellar
mention,
screening.
So twice, I haven't told you this yet, twice in the last week, Lil Yachty has DM'd me on Twitter with he's sent me links about Interstellar.
You guys are
facts about Interstellar.
You guys are like stepbrothers. You guys are like it's like such a fruitful relationship.
It's the greatest thing. I love it. Tommy, we should shout out our boy Luka Doncic, who just signed a massive bag. I also want to point out that he still owes me $1,700 from cards, and he has not paid me. And I tweeted out the other day, and it hit a little bit, but I tweeted it out like the dude needs to cash at me.
He does.
He needs to cash at me ASAP.
It's how he's got to pay you is on Cash App.
100%. We should also mention on Cash App, you can buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrencies. So go download Cash App now. It's the easiest way to send and receive money. What interferes with your happiness? Is something preventing you from achieving your goals? Well, now there's help. BetterHelp. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist, where you can connect in a safe and private online environment. And you can start communicating in under 48 hours. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online.
You could send a message to your counselor anytime, and you'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, all without ever having to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. And better yet, it's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available.
BetterHelp has licensed professional counselors who are specialized in depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, family conflicts, LGBT matters, and much more. We at the Old Man of the Three want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/JJ. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JJ.
Jason J says, which young player in the league do you think is poised to take the biggest jump this year?
I'm going to say Zion.
Yeah.
I think he comes in healthy. I think he knows what it takes now to get through an NBA season. I think he makes a jump. He's certainly got the talent, but I think he makes the jump, and he's an all-NBA player this year.
Yeah. I mean, he was already on.
And look, and if the Pelicans take a jump, there's no doubt. I think he'll be all-NBA. He's going to be the best player on that team.
Yeah.
So I would say Zion. I would like to see. You know who else I'd love to see take a jump, and I think he's. You've seen flashes of it. Is Lonzo. Lonzo could take a jump this year. I could see that.
I think that team could be really good.
Do you?
Yeah, that team could be really good. They got 4 really good players, and they got a good coach.
All right.
Okay. Keep it moving. Spencer Roach, friend of the show.
Spencer Roach.
All-time swagger starting 5.
Ooh.
That's a big question. I don't know if we can answer that right away. Take a little research.
Yeah, I'm going to need at least 5 to 10 minutes. We'll get back to that.
We'll get back to that question. Zach Brunner, best bachelor party city recommendations. That's a good question.
Ooh, best bachelor party city recommendations. That's a great question.
U.S. or international?
It just depends on what you're looking for. At this point in my life, if I'm going to a bachelor party, I hope it's a golf trip.
It's some lame.
Take me to Abandoned Dunes.
We're going to Pebble Beach. You guys go to sleep at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, let's go to Abandoned Dunes and take some mushrooms.
Let's do 25-year-old JJ, because your bachelor party recommendations now are terrible. So let's do younger.
I didn't have a bachelor party.
I'm not talking about you personally. I'm saying what a fun when you were not in the state that you're in now, and you were in I can actually go out and have fun and do stuff that is not sitting on the golf course all day long. What's a fun place to have a bachelor party?
All right. Lots of fun places. But here's a question I have for you. When do most people get married? Most people get married
early 30s.
In the summer, early fall.
Oh, what part of year? Yeah, summer.
Yeah, what part of year?
Summer.
Summer, early fall, right? Generally speaking, that's when a lot of people get married. Where do they go to a bachelor party? Nashville, Miami, Austin, Vegas,
New Orleans.
Those places are fucking brutal in the summer.
Yeah.
I'm being serious. I don't want to spend a weekend in July in 105 degree heat with 89% humidity. Like it doesn't, Vegas obviously doesn't have the humidity, but like it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
True. What about Montreal?
Oh, there's a good one.
Montreal's
Toronto would be nice. Toronto, actually, I'm going to say that. There's my answer.
Toronto's the best.
25-year-old JJ would want to do a bachelor party in Toronto. That is 100% my answer.
Toronto is a crazy city in a good way.
It's great. It's great. Yeah.
New Orleans is good too. New Orleans I just think you got to stay off of the thing with New Orleans. We've talked about this in the show a bunch. If you stay out of not stay completely out of it, but just don't hang in the quarter the whole time. Like there's so many amazing.
You need a local.
Yeah, there's so many amazing parts of the
Yeah.
city that are not on Bourbon Street, and you just got to like get out of that, and it's great.
Yeah. All
right. Miles M. Who hits more threes out of 100? You, Duncan, or Joe Ingles? We should try this out. Jason, are you on here? Jason, we're doing this as a video.
I'm going to say Duncan, probably Joe, and then me. I will say this. I wanted to tell this story. So I've been on a little bit of an epic golf run lately. So I played, in the span of like 2 weeks, I played Marion East, where they just announced they're going to have the 2030 and the 2050 U.S. Open. It was the site of the 2013 U.S. Open. I played Wingfoot, Garden City, Piping Rock, The Bridge, Maidstone, Sabonic. I played a bunch of awesome places. So I'm playing Wingfoot at this charity event with our boy, Feeney. And look, on the golf course, I probably had like 2 Bloody Marys, maybe like 2 beers. And we're going to this.
I heard it was more, but okay. Keep going. Okay,
whatever. I may have puffed on something for a second, and we're like walking down like the 17th fairway, and one of the guys we were going to his house after to have dinner, and he's like, "Hey man, my whole family's at the beach, but my 13 and 15-year-old kids they hung back. They're huge Duke fans. They wanted to meet you." So I'm like, "Okay, great." Then he's like, "I need you to shoot with them. I need you to play horse with them if that's cool." So I'm like, whatever. Yeah, I'll do it. Not thinking these kids were fucking snipers. I go to the sport court and these kids don't miss. They literally don't miss. So now we're in the middle of a wine tasting at this house. I've got to play. I decided to do pig. I've got to play these 2 kids, and they brought a friend, and the 3 of them, they shot like 75% from 3. But the good thing is, despite the things I had in my system at the time, I still shot about 17 for 20 from 3, and I beat all their asses in pig. But it was close. I did have PI. I did have PI.
Close. This is why it's not. I'm glad they didn't film it, because sometimes these things get put on the internet and it's like out of context.
Yeah.
And this is why people think that they can beat NBA players in pickup games and things like that. That is a funny story.
The other thing is like there may, I'm not going to name his name, but like to protect him, but like there may have been an NBA assistant at the party as well. And I was like, oh shit. Like I didn't know he was going to come. And then I was like, oh shit. Like I got to shoot well here. The pressure was on.
Did you ever watch the movie Basketball?
No, but you've mentioned it multiple times, and anybody who's listened to the show knows that it's in your top 5. Again, you're like clearly based on if I were never listened to our show before, and I was like,
I don't think I've ever mentioned it.
Like.
I don't think I've ever mentioned it on the show
Tommy hates
before.
oysters. He loves Caesar salad.
I don't think I've ever mentioned Basketball on the show before.
He thinks the Bulls are going to win the East, and Basketball is a top 5 movie. That's basically the takeaway from today's episode.
You know what? Okay, let's just keep it. Let's just keep it moving. I think we should do a thing with Duncan and Joe.
I think it would be great.
A shooting contest. Joe will just talk so much shit to you guys, though. He might get in your. That's why I was asking, because Basketball, there's a shit talking component to it, and he'll murder both of you in that part, in that quality. I like this question. Mike M. Which NBA podcaster do you think would make the best player?
Oh, interesting. Woj. So let's go down. Woj, Zach Lowe, Nate Duncan. Not going to say the name of the Philly podcast.
No. They're at the bottom of the list too.
Who else is?
We need somebody with some size. Like who's tall?
I mean, can we count Jalen Rose?
No players. You can't. That's cheating. No one who's played. You can't even have played in college. I don't think.
I feel like isn't Nate Duncan really tall?
I've never met him.
I'm not even sure this is a good question. Let's move on.
I'm just curious. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. Peter P.
John Hollinger.
Most evil movie character of all time. Ooh.
Most evil movie character of all time. Like, I don't even know where to go with this.
I have the answer, but it's like kind of dark.
What is the most evil?
It's the guy.
Don't even say it.
I mean, I'll say it. It's not like it's the guy in Schindler's List. Is like that guy is like ridiculous.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. That's why it's like it's a good question, but like you couldn't do a draft of that because all the actual answers are like fucked up people.
It just gets too dark.
Yeah,
it just gets too dark. You're right. I think maybe we do. Yeah, fiction. Like, yeah. Okay. I'm going to leave that one alone.
Okay.
I was going to say, it would be a good one to do. In all seriousness, we should draft villains from animated movies. Like that would be a good one to do.
Yeah, that's good.
Or like kids movies. You know what I mean?
Who was the last villain one we did with sports movie villains with Grayson, right? That was good. Okay. Best YouTube deep dive you've been on recently, Molly M.
Best YouTube deep dive I've been on recently. What about you? I want to hear yours on this.
I've been on this is not the first time I've been on this deep dive, but I've been back on the rabbit hole in it the last week is Glastonbury Music Festival outside of London.
You keep sending me links, dude. It's so fucking annoying. I'm not watching a music festival on my phone.
I don't understand why you can't watch for like 4 minutes. Like you don't have to watch the whole thing. I find those to be amazing deep dives because unlike some YouTube deep dives where you end up leaving the rabbit hole with like a fucked up view of the world and like basically twisted lack of understanding on like important issues that are going on, these just make you happy. Like these are just amazing performances. Everybody in them looks happy. The one I sent you was Arcade Fire 2006. Okay. I sent it to Win. Win said that was the best performance they've ever done. So that should, now you're probably going to go watch it and you're going to pretend like you found it and say it to him. But yeah, that was mine.
I mean, pretty much all of my deep dives on YouTube right now are like hole by hole golf course videos. So like,
that's like horrible, dude.
Dude, it's not horrible though. Like I'm playing Pebble soon and I'm playing Pasatiempo, I'm playing Cypress Point. Like I've got all these trips coming up. And so I want to know the holes. So I just keep rewatching the videos over and over. And like I said, I played Winged Foot and there's this beautiful hole by hole of Winged Foot that I think Golf Digest did. Man, I loved it. So that's where I'm at right now.
Could we shout out J.R. Smith for joining the
By
golf
the way,
team?
Tommy, I'm getting really close to dropping my handicap. Like meaning like my handicap is dropping. I'm saying I'm getting really close to just talking about openly, publicly what my handicap is.
Why don't you just say it now?
All right, I'll just say it. Fuck it. I'm not proud of it. Let's be clear. But I've made a lot of progress. I've never broken 90 prior to 2 weeks ago. And I shot an 89 at Piping Rock. I shot an 89 at the bridge. And then my last full round at the bridge, I shot an 86. So I'm trending in the right direction. So I started the month of July as a 20.2. And as of today, I'm a 14.9. So I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there. I'm going to be a single digit.
So proud.
By the time I play an NBA game again, I'm going to be a single digit. put it that way.
So proud. I think everybody listening is just like, people are probably crying out of appreciation for this.
A 14.9 is not a good golfer. Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
You're so amazing. Okay.
It's terrible. It's a terrible number. Right. It's a terrible number. Speaking of weather, summer's here and the living ain't easy if you've got swamp ass. How do you stay on top of your sweaty bottom? Try a refreshing spray from a Hello Tushy bidet. Keep your sweaty crack fresh all summer long with the brand new Hello Tushy 3.0 modern bidet attachment. It's a stylish, eco-friendly, refreshing little shower for your ass.
Hello Tushy 3.0 cleans soggy butts like a champ, but it just doesn't stop there. It cleans itself with the Smart Spray automatic self-cleaning nozzle. No one wants to work up a sweat in 100-degree heat. So that's why the Hello Tushy bidet attaches to your existing toilet with no electricity or extra plumbing needed. And Hello Tushy cuts toilet paper use by 80%, so it'll pay for itself in a few months.
Plus, Hello Tushy's got your ass covered with a 60-day risk-free guarantee and a 12-month warranty. Already got a Hello Tushy on the pot? Treat your butt to the new 3.0 model. If you're new to the revolution, join millions of happy Hello Tushy customers right now and have a clean behind with every flush. So defeat swamp ass. Go to hellotushy.com/3, THREE, to get 10% off plus free shipping. This is a special offer for our listeners at hellotushy.com/3 for 10% off. One last time, hellotushy.com/THREE. Hey guys, if you're looking for something delicious and healthy to eat and don't know how to put it together or simply don't know where to start, then look no further than Green Chef. Every ingredient is handpicked, featuring organic veggies and high-quality proteins, and it's delivered to your door pre-measured and mostly prepped in insulated packaging. How easy does that sound, Tommy?
Quite easy. Green Chef lets you choose from a wide array of easy-to-follow recipes, perfect for keto, paleo, and plant-powered diets, or even if you just want to eat in a more balanced way. Their expert chefs design flavorful recipes that go way beyond ordinary for a diverse array of meal plans and plenty of options to choose from each week.
Make leading a healthier lifestyle easier than ever with satisfying, home-cooked dinners with options that work around your lifestyle, not the other way around. Chelsea and I have used Green Chef, and it's awesome. The meals are delicious, and it saves a ton of time. So go to greenchef.com/JJ100 and use code JJ100 to get $100 off, including free shipping. Once again, that's greenchef.com/JJ100 and use code JJ100 to get $100 off, including free shipping. Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well.
Tommy Lemus said, one missed shot in your career you wish you could have had back.
Game 5, 2018 Eastern Conference Finals. I believe we were up 4, under 2 minutes to go against Boston. TJ did his little thing where he gnashed the baseline with his right hand.
I remember this shot.
And then he's underneath the basket. He drew a defender. He kicked it out. And I was sort of in that left diagonal 45-degree slot. And like he had some heat on the ball and there's a little side spin. So I didn't get it on my like fingers right. And I shot it and I knew it was short as soon as I shot it. And I think about that shot a lot because, look, we were still down 3-1 in that series. But like that team was one of my favorite teams I've ever been on. And if like I hit that shot, we go up 7, we probably win that game. We go back game 6. We're in Philly. Like there's a chance we make the conference finals, come back from down 3-0. But like I think about that shot a lot. That shot bothers me. What about you? Oh, never mind. Never mind.
My favorite was on the golf course, Pebble Beach.
Fuck you.
My favorite was in playing these 3 kids who are big fans of mine. And all right, Stephanie R. What's one city you've never traveled to, you've always wanted to? Good
one
question.
city. That's a good. That's easy for me. Lisbon or Lisboa. But Portugal. I want to go to Portugal so bad. And I had a trip planned this summer. I signed with the Pelicans. We were supposed to go, just me and Chelsea, for a week. But because of the move and trying to get Knox in school and trying to find an apartment, we just were like, we can't.
Are there any American cities you've never been to?
Yeah. There's a few.
That you would like, that you really want to go to?
Like I haven't been to Bismarck or Pierre.
Yeah. I want to go to Santa Fe. I've heard Santa Fe is really cool.
I want to go to Portland, Maine. Portland, Maine's at the top of my list.
Yeah,
I want to get a lobster roll from Portland,
We
Maine.
should go there with Duncan.
And I want to go to Eventide Oyster and have the best oyster experience of my life.
So you've been in SAG and then you went to Nantucket. So you're full on like Northeastern.
Here's my question to you. I'm going to pose a question and I would love any listener to chime in on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. It's a question and we all have opinions about like weather patterns and like what the best place to be is. But like if you're in the United States, you could make an argument that the best place to spend a summer is in the Northeast coast, like being in the coast, Northeast. I would also put like, there's probably some Midwesterners that are like Lake Michigan, Wisconsin, whatever. I get that. Like I've heard it's beautiful. Haven't experienced it. I love the West Coast, but like, I think the vibe's great. It's a good vibe.
I think I say this as somebody who's from the Northeast and in the Northeast bubble or whatever. I think a lot of it is bubble. It's a bubble talking. But by that I mean like, and I haven't been to a lot of these places, but like think about like the Ozarks and like Missouri and like these places in Carolina and stuff like that. Like all these different locations have really nice lakes.
The Outer Banks.
Outer Banks. Like once you get there, you're like, oh, this is the greatest place on earth. And you just don't know about them unless you're there. It's only in the Northeast because of all the media. There's a million reasons why
you think it's the media. You think it's the media?
Yes,
you don't think it's the fact that it's 78 degrees
I think it's the
with
media.
no humidity?
I straight up think
and
it's the media.
Nice ocean breeze. I don't think
that like Nantucket and Cape Cod are nicer than the Outer Banks or nicer than Lake Michigan.
I'm not saying they're nicer than. I'm saying I'm referencing the fucking weather. The weather. I don't want to be hot. I don't want to sweat when I go outside in the summer.
But the best weather is in Southern California.
Yeah, but it's like that year round. So there's no difference between the summer. And by the way, don't say that. Don't say that. In the valley, it's like 120
not
sometimes.
Everywhere in Southern California.
And California's on fire every other month.
But the weather in Malibu is better than the weather in Nantucket.
Okay.
Yes, you know that. You've been in both places. That's a fact.
Oh my God.
All right, we're done with the questions. Do you have any more?
I don't have. I have so many questions for you.
What else do you want to talk about? What's on your mind?
I'm upset at some of your takes today.
Why?
We appreciate all the questions. We also should mention real quick before we get off, we got the merch.
Yeah.
If you see something on the merch site that says sold out, please drop your email that you are interested. Join the wait list for it. When we get enough emails, they will do another run of that shirt or hoodie or hat or whatever. So yeah, check out the merch site. It's shop.342.com.
We got a couple announcements coming soon about some new projects in the works.
Some new stuff coming.
And what else did we have? There was another thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of these in person coming up, which is going to be exciting. When JJ finally gets off the golf course, gets back to Brooklyn, we got some, and I think the in-person ones will be interesting.
Yeah, we got some fun ones.
Like you're going to have to be on your game. You can't be on your phone half the time while I'm carrying the conversation.
Right, because that's what happens. All right. Thanks for listening.
All right.